Orphe, you dropped some knowledge on me earlier today, which I really appreciated. First of all, you spoke about Albuquerque in glowing terms. So we're going to talk about Albuquerque, New Mexico, which, according to the folks at Zillow, who you know fairly well, you have a close personal relationship with them, is the destination for new graduates in 2025. Now, you have to lay the truth out for me on this. Albuquerque, New Mexico is, I think it's one of the more slept on and overlooked little big cities or big little cities in the United States. And of course, it's in New Mexico. And unless you're going to New Mexico on purpose, you're not probably going to be driving through New Mexico or certainly flying through New Mexico. So how did it become this great city of Albuquerque? How did it become the place for college graduates to presumably buy a house?
I want to say it's probably still becoming. It's not, I said,
it's not fully croissant just yet.
I think it's becoming. And part of that is, well, it's affordable, right? Number one, it's affordable. Number two, both for the for sale market, but also the rental market, relatively more affordable.
And to be clear, Albuquerque is number two, but I'm giving Albuquerque the headline because, nobody ever gives Albuquerque the headline. We're giving Albuquerque the headline. It's a fine city. I have friends in Albuquerque. Austin is still ranked number one. Although layoffs, in the tech sector, can't be doing any favors for Austin. And I wanted to focus on Albuquerque. Why? But tell me why.
So what went into the index? Affordability, rent affordability, right? But also recent graduates, incomes, and job openings. And the data for job openings, gotta give credit where credit is due, comes from Indeed's hiring lab. Indeed hiring lab, really cool resource for job postings. And so when you look at all those factors, what you learn very quickly is that it's a great place if you're young, college educated, you got your college degree, but you may not have a ton of experience yet, right? Jobs for job postings for college educated, bachelor degree workers without a lot of experience are somewhat plentiful.
So we're really talking about the rental markets in these cities, to be clear. Although Albuquerque, from an affordability standpoint, on the buy side, is it's a pretty interesting place.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at the Zillow Market Heat Index, if you look at the bargaining power and kind of competition amongst buyers, you learn very quickly that it's a place where there's just not a lot of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And because there isn't a lot of inventory, competition remains somewhat stiff among buyers. It's also a place that's getting a lot of investment. These are industries like aerospace
mm-hmm.
and chip manufacturing. And so, those are healthier labor markets for young folks. And so they're attracted to those new industries and they're attracted to the affordability. And so I like it. I like it. And I think this is a market that's potentially starved for inventory, and where, if you're a seller in that market, or if you're a housing provider, you may actually, kind of reap the benefits. Of course, I say that, and you just mentioned to me before this conversation that, potentially you're starting to see some layoffs in some of the industries, in those industries. But yeah, I think this is, when you compare it to a lot of other markets, I think this is one that has a lot of potential.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Austin, and not to put you on the spot on Austin, because I'm looking at the data. Typical rent in Austin now, and we can go back to Albuquerque and make a comparison contrast. And actually, let me start with this. Top 5 markets for recent college graduates per this report from Zillow. Austin's number 1. Albuquerque's number 2. Dallas is number 3. San Antonio is 4, and Charlotte, North Carolina is 5. Not a lot of surprises on that list, I would say, except for Albuquerque. But in Austin, one of the data points is that among the rental listings, that 61% of them are offering some kind of a concession.
Yeah.
So an extra month for you stay there for 13 months, you pay for 12 kind of thing, or you some kind of, I don't know, what are the other incentives that are being offered nowadays?
Well, waived application fees, reduced security deposit, free parking, right?
Yeah.
1 month rent free.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all the types of concessions that landlords are offering. So why is that? Well, it is because you basically have a construction boom that took place in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a ton of inventory, even more inventory than you had before the pandemic in that market. That's actually good. You know, if you're going to move into that market right now, well, you have choices. You have options. You have more bargaining power, right? So probably not the best place to be a seller, but a great place to be a young, college grad getting a new job and being able to take advantage of, lower rents, maybe, some concessions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're interested in the for sale market, a ton more inventory, a lot of bargaining power, and some great options.
Well, Albuquerque has the lowest typical rent at $1,614. Austin, which was number 1 on your list, $1,767. You're also showing salaries in this report. So in Austin, the typical, average income for recent graduates, and a recent graduate would be somebody, what's the definition of that? 0 to 3 years out of school, or?
So we look at people that we looked at job postings.
Okay.
That did not require any previous experience.
Okay.
Right? College graduates that did not require any previous experience. We also, we even added the share of the population of individuals in their 20s, 21 to 29. I mean, it's fair to assume that people like to hang out around, younger. If I'm young, I'd like to be surrounded by all other young people,
sure.
Right? And, to do things that young people do. And
right.
so, if you look at that, right, you can see basically that, these markets have kind of all the right things.
Yeah.
For somebody in that age group.
Your report suggests that the average income in Albuquerque for these recent graduates is a little over $67,000. So, I mean, imagine that these are people that are going to be hopping into aerospace. I guess, jobs that would be capable of paying that kind of, annual salary to a younger person.
Just to give you, just to move back to Austin a little bit, because I think it's interesting. The typical new renter in Austin is spending roughly 20% of their income on rent. That's beautiful.
Yeah, right. What's the magic numbers? 30% or less, right?
The kind of the guideline is 30%, but just imagine if you were paying 20% of your income on rent, well, why not rent in Austin, Texas, right?
Right. No, it's a good place to be. Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate the thoughts on this. I mean, it's always interesting to see where people are going, or maybe where people have an opportunity to have a great life. Let's call it good there.